I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe it came from you. I'm gonna write words oh so sweet. They're gonna knock me off of my feet. A lot of kisses on the bottom. I'll be glad I got 'em. I'm gonna smile and say I hope you're feeling better. And close with love the way you used to do. I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe it came from you. I am gonna sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe it came from you. I'm gonna write words oh so sweet. They're gonna knock me off of my feet. A lot of kisses on the bottom. Oh, I'm glad I'm gonna write and say I hope you're feeling better. And close with love the way you used to do. Oh, I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe it came from you. I'm gonna smile and say I hope you're feeling better. And close with love the way you used to do. I am gonna sit right down and write myself a big fat letter and make believe it came. But I know it's not the same. I am gonna make believe it came from you.
Meet your next favorite artist, Mae Dixon.
Boy.
Mae here is accompanied on guitar by Sean Harkness. We actually have something new for you today. So usually we feature a lot of singer-songwriters, but Mae is actually an interpreter of the Great American Songbook. Let's hear Mae talk all about this because I'm sure you know so much more than I do.
Yeah, it's a collection of great songs written by American composers, people like George Gershwin or Harold Arlen, Hoagy Carmichael, so many others that singers like me have sung for many years and recycled throughout time and interpreted in our own ways in our own eras.
It's amazing because oftentimes we expect music like this and interpreters of the Great American Songbook to be a bit older, but how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 22.
Oh my God, everyone in this room is mad right now, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm 10 years older than that, and I look about 30 years older than that, so that's
How does
great.
that guy feel?
But that's great. Well, how do you at 22 come to be a singer of the Great American Songbook yourself? Like, how did this find you of all the kinds of music that you could have taken to?
Well, for me, all roads lead back to Barbra Streisand.
And you can I quote you on that?
Yeah. Please do.
We're gonna put that on a shirt, yeah.
Yeah. I should sell that.
Yes, you should.
All roads lead to Barbra Streisand.
When I was in middle school, I guess, is when I first discovered Barbra, and that was through curiosity of hearing her name and Googling who is Barbra Streisand and then falling madly in love with her. And she introduced me to the whole world of theater, Great American Songbook, composers like Marilyn and Alan Bergman, even great contemporary composers like Marvin Hamlish. I didn't know anything about that scene before I knew Barbra. And my mom was a rock and roll singer, so music was always in the family, but not necessarily, 100-year-old music. It was a little more contemporary. So yeah, it was Barbra, and then in terms of jazz, it was moving to New York when I was 18. That's when I really discovered what jazz was. I thought I knew what jazz was, but I didn't until I moved to New York.
Now I'm going to quote you on that.
Yeah. That was right when I moved to New York, was Juilliard and learning how to sing classically. I can't sing classically, by the way. I'm still learning. I still take lessons every week.
You don't need to. You can do this.
Good for you.
Good. Yeah, it's fun. I love singing arias and stuff, but I'm no good at it. But so then, at the same time, I was going to Birdland, and that's where I met Sean, and sitting in at Birdland, sitting in at jams around town, and just sucking, just being so inexperienced and just flopping again and again. But it's from those jams and those times at Birdland that I realized I need to actually learn some music, because I knew technique, but I didn't know music. I didn't know any theory. I need to learn what swing is. I need to learn how to talk to musicians.
Oh, yeah.
So that's when I started taking jazz lessons. A lot of my musicality comes from just working and learning from Sean, too, because when Sean and I started working together, I was 18, and I knew nothing. I didn't know what an arrangement was when we started working together. And Sean and I would meet in the basement of Birdland to rehearse our first show, and I would bring him sheet music, not charts, but sheet music, and Sean would say, okay, how do you want to do this? And I was like, what do you...
Like that, yeah.
It's like, what do you mean?
It's right there.
Yeah. Like, how do you...
That's how.
I'm like, the music's already written, man. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So Sean introduced me to the world of band leading and arranging and different feels, and that's sort of how I learned some of the theory was actually just in our preparation for my first show in New York.
I think that's one of the most interesting parts about the existence of the Great American Songbook is that we have chosen a certain section of music that is music as tradition. And so you are carrying forward a torch and then putting your own spin on it and your own version, or combining all of your favorite versions into your own version. I'm curious, with you and your career, if you can maybe name the song you have done the most arrangements of.
There's no one size fits all here. Everybody's got their own approach and everything. And I'm really good with chords and scales and lyrics in the moment and what we're doing right now. I'm terrible with names and titles. If somebody comes up at the end of a show and says, "Oh, what was that third song you did after that?" I'm like, let me go get the song list.
Yeah.
I'm just so in the moment with each song that it's for me to go back and reference. I know guys who are really good at that. I'm not one of them. I'm sorry.
One of them
But
is
you've
sitting
probably
right over
done...
there.
Oh, yeah?
What?
So good with names. So good with the names of things.
Yeah.
And I'm the complete opposite.
And you'd be like, that's that guy from that thing. He'll name like 7 projects they're in.
Or
And I'm
7
like, oh,
different
sorry, I don't
actors.
remember. Yeah, and I'm like, that's actually 5 different people. But the fact that you remembered all those things.
Melded into one name.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's Patrick Robertson. He was in the Batman. And you're like, how did you flip it?
Yeah, I was like,
How did
that's
you
Robert
flip it?
Pattinson. But I'd love to, chat with you, like, as a musician myself, and playing things like this that have been arranged and rearranged so many times. What do you find is the biggest challenge when it comes to finding the balance of what the artist wants versus what you have to offer? Where's the line of this is, these are the ideas that I have, and here's how we use them to get what you want?
The way I approach that usually is like the only things that are sacred in a song, just unchangeable, immutable, is you have the melody. That's what it is. You have to state it clearly at least the first time. By the end, you can riff on it and improvise with it. But the melody is the melody. You can't change those notes. And that's the composer's intention. And the lyric. I made the mistake on one of my own solo shows once, just changing a lyric to reflect my girlfriend or my guitar or something like that. And the review I got was, although he took some regrettable liberties. Oh my God. I'll never do it again. I'm really sorry.
You knew exactly what they were talking about, right?
That is so funny.
It's like the Friends episode where Monica gets the review of her restaurant and Joey's like, your food is abysmal. And like he doesn't know what abysmal is.
Yeah.
He thinks it's such a he's like, Joey Tribbiani was Everyone in this production of Our Town was awful. Joey Tribbiani, however, was abysmal. And he's like, I'll never forget it.
Wow. Well, it wasn't quite that bad, but
So is that what you felt when you?
You guys sound great.
what I meant though was that, you know, like when we were working on these, the one, well, you'll hear in a moment the song we're going to get to. We're just trying to figure out the feeling of it, and I completely changed the chords from what would appear on the original. Everything is a choice, you know.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the more choices you have, the better an arranger you are.
I want to talk all about the album, and specifically, I'd love to talk about how you chose the songs that went into it and why they inspired you over any others, because there's so many songs you could choose from when you're a songbook singer like this. But first, I think let's just get a sense of your next song, because personally, I really adore this song. I have a very special personal story with the song that makes me love it so much. But I Get Along Without You Very Well is so beautiful.
What's your story?
I did a cabaret show. I put on my own cabaret show a couple of years ago revolving around grief because I lost my mother pretty young. And I wrote some songs around it and thought it'd be a shame for me to write these songs and never do anything. So I decided to put them up, but they weren't quite enough to fill my own night. So I invited 4 other people who I knew that were my age that lost parents way too young and invited them each to do 2 songs as a tribute. And then this one man, Matthew Davies, went up and he sang I Get Along Without You Very Well, and actually played piano to this. And I had never heard the song before in my life. So I heard it in this context for the first time, and it was so touching. I really, really adore it.
I'm not going to be able to hear the song now without thinking of that, so sorry, guys.
That's why I'm like, maybe we cut that story. Maybe we cut the story from the episode.
No, don't
I don't
cut
want to
that.
hijack
No,
it,
that's
but yeah.
beautiful.
But that's why
That's-
I really adore this song specifically.
That's really
Yeah, that's
amazing that you say that. This is when I sing this, it's about grief as well.
Really?
Yeah, and my I don't know if I've even shared that with you, but my interpretation of this song is almost like the stages of grief and the compounding, confusing feelings that happen when we lose somebody and we can't make sense of it. And I think in our recording, you'll hear too the anger that comes in as we build the song to the end. It's just all of these confusing ways that we try to handle losing someone that we love. And that can be the grief of death or a relationship or anything. But for me, it was actually about both. And the trying to, how do we keep going in the world when it feels like the world should stop and we've lost somebody and it doesn't make sense that everything is still going on around us, and you want to say, "Stop! Wait! I've lost
me a
somebody.
second. Yeah.
It's you. I can't answer my emails. I can't."
I'm so glad that this song means
Yeah.
nearly like the same thing to you in a different interpretation,
Yeah.
and that's what's going into this project.
Yeah, definitely,
Songs are for.
definitely.
Yeah.
I get along without you very well. Of course I do. Except when soft rains fall and drip from leaves, then I recall the thrill of being sheltered in your arms. Of course I do. But I get along without you very well. I've forgotten you just like I should. Of course I have, except to hear your name or someone's laugh that is the same. But I've forgotten you just like I should. What a gal. What a fool am I to think my breaking heart could kid the moon. What's in store? Should I phone once more? No, it's best do. Very well, of course I do. Except perhaps in spring. But I should never think of spring, for that would surely break my heart in two. But I should never think of spring, for that would surely break my heart in two.
Wow, thank you so much. That was really
That was beautiful.
Thank
and
you.
that solo was so phenomenal. That is
Gorge.
really, it's unbelievable being so up close and personal, watching your fingers move like that. It's incredible. So is that song on your upcoming album?
Yep,
Okay.
all the tunes we're doing today are
Great,
also-
everything is off the album.
Lovely.
Perfect. What's it called?
Introducing Mae Dixon.
Okay, that's
Nice.
pretty appropriate.
Love it.
So it's your
Perfect.
debut album. Any EPs or anything, or is it just as your first body of work published?
We had recorded a few singles
Okay.
a number of years ago when I was 18 and 19. So those are out there, but this is the first, and those were just duo.
Sure.
But this is the first full band record.
Really?
Awesome.
How many
Yeah.
pieces? What's behind it?
Bass, drums, guitar, and
Okay.
myself.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
then we actually have Natalie Livingston, our mutual friend.
Oh, fun.
Natalie
Really?
Livingston and
Friend
my
of the show.
Gianna, friend of the show. Natalie and Gianna are singing background, kind of like an Andrew Sisters thing on one of the tunes, because we all met in the Satin Dolls doing the sort of USO act.
Satin doll.
Yeah, this sort of routine.
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
I
There's a
love
lot
the
of that.
Satin Dolls.
Me too. I had a great time.
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, so we all met, so I wanted to pay homage to that chapter.
Sure.
We noticed this when we were doing some research before, but all of your live full band performances are just a trio. And I was wondering, what is it about that core trio that does exactly enough for what you need?
Well, with Sean, it feels like more than a trio. Just, I mean, you guys have heard the sort of symphony that he can make.
It's incredible. It's so he
a
makes this
depth
instrument
of-
so versatile.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it sounds a lot fuller than just three pieces on the record. I think you'll hear that too. Yeah, trio's pretty common. I think what's uncommon about this record is that it's a guitar-led trio. Usually in jazz, you have piano as, you know.
Sure.
So that came about very organically because Sean and I met at Birdland, and when I was trying to put together my first act in New York, Sean happened to be there, and we played together, and it came about So that it was very organic that it turned into this guitar-led trio. But I think that it's important, and it gave a sort of signature sound that had some edge and was outside of the box of traditional jazz recordings.
Totally. See, I was going to say, I just didn't know if I was underinformed or anything, but when I heard that you were coming in doing jazz and you're bringing just a guitarist as accompaniment, I was a little surprised. I wouldn't associate a guitar as being the solo accompanying instrument for a jazz singer. But after hearing you play, it feels like you're filling out such a full spectrum. Like I could close my eyes and think that there's a bass and a lead guitarist playing at the same time. You're filling up so much of the space so well.
Well, and I try to think orchestrationally too, using different parts of the guitar,
Yeah.
keeping it simple here and adding more in that. The choices of songs that she brought to me, and then how they felt when we were playing them, that kind of informed me who the people would be to fill it out. You know, because the way I see it, you know, we accompanists or guys in band, we tend to be like character actors in a sense, or like adjectives, if you will, you know. So, you know, I knew I had to have Rob Mister on this. He was just the man. And so, Rob, who's your favorite bass player to work with? Oh, that was Dmitry Yashenko. And that's how Dmitry came into the fold. And it was it was such the way to do it, because the first time we got together to run through a song, you know, just like, okay, let's just stumble through it and see what it should sound like. And then it's like, well, that was pretty much it. Shall we move on? You know, it was boom. It was like, so we were immediately, the things that we were talking about in rehearsal were details.
Yeah,
you know?
Cleaning up things
Yeah,
as opposed to trying to find any relationship. It was there.
Yeah.
We just did detail work.
Yeah, the chemistry that a band has is so important because it is such a silent communication.
Yeah.
You're talking about like being the adjectives, and I think that's such a beautiful way of describing it because everything you do is a descriptor of the main thing. And you know, the adverb I've been offered a lot is tastefully, which often means I'm playing too loud. Like, yeah, could you just play more tastefully? And I'm like, you mean shut up? Yeah, I got it.
You mean shut up?
Yeah, no, understood. Tastefully, I'll switch to brushes.
One less, Tom? Sure.
Yeah.
I got you.
I brought my third snare. But yeah, exactly. When you as a guitarist are providing that main accompanying voice, what are the differences in your mindset versus being in a jazz band that also has a piano as the leading voice?
Oh, great question.
Yeah.
So without like demonstrating, but like I'm
can.
playing full chords for that last tune.
Right.
You know, but if I knew there was a bass, I would leave out all those things there, and I might just, you know,
Completely changes what we've been hearing this whole time. Yeah.
It does.
yeah, and if there were a piano, I might do nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
Interesting.
or just or listen to see what they're doing, and if they're up here, then I'll be in the middle. If they're in the middle, then I'll be up here. My approach is always to kind of find a sonic register where no one else is, and still contribute something. And that's a decision of the moment, you know, and it's going to be different with different people. There's so many piano players in New York City, and I'm blessed to work with a lot of them, and so many of them are not used to working with guitar players. So that has forced me to create a certain sensibility, to find the way to make everybody happy, and it's not always obvious. And like I said, sometimes the best thing to do is nothing. That is one of the choices.
It is. It really is in that sense.
Let a section go by, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So clearly you have very good chemistry with your band because you have great chemistry with Sean, and Sean has the wisdom to find a bassist and drummer who have great chemistry with each other.
Yeah.
For this album, do you feel that you've had to do a lot of writing and arranging, or was it all just very natural when you just got into the rehearsal room?
Some of these tunes we had done in concerts before, and those were easy. Actually, I think the three that we're going to do, we hadn't played out much, and those for me were harder in the studio because we just didn't have the repetition yet.
We're exploring them for the first time.
We were finding them in the studio.
And when that happens, what do you as a singer like to do? Do you defer to Sean and his expertise, or do you have things that you want that you try to coach the band into achieving?
It just depends. I mean, that's our work together too.
She has such a clear vision.
I do too. Yeah.
No, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of, for me, it's a matter of interpreting most of the time.
Yeah,
Right.
and Sean can bring he can, as a singer who's not an instrumentalist, when I say this is what I want it to sound like, and I verbalize that, or I sing a part of it, Sean says, oh, that's a samba, or oh, that's
Sure.
this. He's
Yeah.
able to put the language to.
Sometimes right away, but sometimes it takes a few tries.
Sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty particular to work for.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I love that. Are you kidding?
You
Yeah.
should be. You have such a
It
strong
helps.
sense of
Yeah.
musicianship in your singing.
Oh,
You really
thank you.
should be that
Thank
particular.
you.
Like you
Yeah.
have a great vision, then you should execute as
Absolutely.
closely as you'd
Thank
like.
you.
Really.
Honestly, speaking of particular, why did you choose these songs in the album?
Some of them were childhood favorites, like Asleep in Bee we do on the album. That was maybe is my favorite song of all time. It was a song that represented for me a world beyond Wellfleet, where I grew up, and a world beyond the kind of music that I knew. I hadn't heard a beautiful ballad with a weird melody and a weird story before, and I was really enchanted at 12 years old to hear this. It's a song called Asleep in Bee by Harold Arlen. It's from a musical called House of Flowers. And you know it?
I've heard it like once or twice,
Oh,
but yeah.
That makes me happy.
Yeah.
I learned it from Barbara's album. It's on her first album as well. So some songs were like that I knew for introducing myself to a broader audience, what did I want to say? I wanted to show who I really am at my core and what I've been singing in my bedroom since I was 12, Other songs like Moanin' or Take 5 really represent my early years in New York and meeting Sean. And because I heard these songs out in the world, I heard them at Birdland or I heard them at Smalls, and I thought, what is this song? And so the record is kind of an encapsulation of these early years and the influence, the beginning of my interactions with jazz, because we've been talking a lot about saying that this is jazz, and I don't even know if it is. I mean,
Sure.
I love jazz. I'm not an expert. I take influence from the language of jazz and swing, but I wouldn't say that I'm a jazz singer. I would say I'm a singer.
Sure.
And so the record is sort of a hodgepodge of those influences in New York and just songs that are less jazz and more theatery or songbook-esque that really spoke to me.
Awesome. How many songs are on the album, and are there any that didn't make the cut?
Yes, there are some that didn't make it. There are 8. It's funny, actually, and you don't even know this. When I started the record, I had a different vision for it in my head. It was going to be more conceptual. We're going to open with the song Where or When. And my connection to that song was the same as my connection to this music, that it's so old. Some of these songs are 90 years old, but I feel them deeply, and so many people still connect with them. So it's that sort of mystical connection between time that these songs still resonate. So we started with Where or When, and we had never played it before, and we started in the studio. Do you remember this? Yeah. And we spent a half of the day on Where or When. We had a 9-hour session, and we spent so many hours on Where or When, and it just was not coming together. Right. It just was not. Yeah. And it couldn't, I think I heard it as an orchestra, and it just is one of those that didn't translate. The album told a really different story after we cut that tune. I started looking at the album, and it opens with this Cole Porter song called It's All Right With Me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And for me, when I sing that song, it's about discovering that I was gay, because that song is about being attracted to someone that you're confused by. And it's the wrong time, it's the wrong place. Your face is charming, but it's the wrong face.
Yep.
So when I started thinking of these songs as each personally, I had some connection as to why I was singing them. It became an introduction of who I am as a person, rather than a concept about a broader concept of, oh, this is why I like this music. It really became personal. And then Moanin', for example, to me just represented the angst of being 20, because I was 20 when we recorded it, and I was just frustrated and worried about the future, as I still am, but I'm a little better now. Mm-hmm. But especially when we recorded it, it was the fear of the unknown and just the anguish of being a young person sometimes so painful. We've all been through that. It sucks.
Right.
So the songs started to reveal themselves to me in that way, and it became this very personal introduction, which is why I called it Introducing Mae Dixon.
I'm glad that there's a reason. I'm glad that there's a conceptual reason behind that title, because if you were titling your album that simply because it's your debut album, that'd still be fantastic. But knowing that there's a layer underneath that is really, really amazing, that you were finding this in real time while you were making it. And I think that's why the American Songbook is such a beautiful tradition, because people work very hard on writing their own words to capture how they're feeling and relaying how they want the audience to know that they're feeling. But it's amazing to think that these songs are so classic because they transcend decades and generations. And for generations to come, we'll still be feeling these emotions and trying to express these feelings and applying them to ourselves. And it's beautiful that we have a world of new and ingenuity, but also that we have such a strong culture sticking to an old tradition and iterating on that tradition over and over.
You think about these songs that were written 100 years ago, and it's like, wow, we all have the same experience.
Yes.
We all think we're so unique and special, and our heartbreak is our heartbreak, and our grief is our grief, and our triumphs and our worries. We are all the same.
Yes.
We are all going through the same stuff.
Right. We really enjoy this. We
So
love
thank
seeing all the different kinds of artists that come in and have to with and like all the different perspectives and stories that they come with. It's amazing. And I'm so glad that we got to have you on the show, because you really bring something so unique that we haven't featured before. And it's been such a great time talking to you and hearing what you have to show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Well, thank you so much for coming. And if you would do us the honor of one more and maybe play It's a New World.
Yes, this is a beautiful Harold Arlen and Ira Gershwin tune, and I think to me it represents hope in all its forms.
Perfect. Go stream Introducing Mae Dixon wherever you listen to music.
How wonderful that I'm beholding a never, never land unfolding, where we polish up the stars and mountains we move in a life where all the pleasures we will approve. It's a new world I see, a new world for me. The tears have rolled off my cheek, and fears fade away every time you speak. A new world, though we're in a tiny room. What a vision of joy and blossom and bloom. A new found promise, one that will last. So I'm holding on, and I'm holding fast. You brought a new world to me, and that it'll always, always be.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.